So today we're going to take a look at Momondo. Now, this is another website that you can go to find the cheapest airfare. I have not used this very much at all, so this is going to be a review to see how it holds up to the other cheap airline websites like Google Flights and Skyscanner. Let's see how they do, so let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so this is the Momondo home screen. Now, I just want to get an idea through this to find out how they compare to Skyscanner. Sorry, excuse my dog. Skyscanner, Google Flights. Can they compete? Can they give you the cheapest flight, or is it just a big muddle, which I seem to find with a lot of these low-cost websites, where you get cheaper airfare. It ends up being just way too many things all at once, and it makes it hard to navigate. So let's go ahead and see if this one is the same or if it's better. So let's dive in. So it looks like the beginning is pretty standard. You put in where you want to go, where you're coming from, where you want to go. It looks like you can add multiple airports. So where I am at, I'm in Los Angeles. And if you saw some of my previous videos, you would see that one of the tricks to getting cheap airfare is to be open on your airports. So if you live in an area where there's multiple airports around you, checking all of those airports, because sometimes they might be cheaper. Also, where you're going into the destination airport, you want to check multiple airports there, because there might be others that are cheaper. Even if you have to commute to your final destination, it still might be a cheaper combo to fly into a different airport. So when I'm looking at a website as far as deciding if it's going to be a good website for finding cheap airfare, I always look to see how flexible they can be on the airports, or if I have to continually go back and add a new airport and then check, and then add a new airport and check. If I can check it from one screen, that to me makes it a much better website. So coming to Momondo, it looks like I can indeed check multiple airports, which is very cool. And it brings them up for you based on the original airport, which is nice if you aren't as familiar with the airports surrounding you. It's a good way to bring it up, and you can go, oh yeah, I can totally go to Orange County. I can go to Ontario, Burbank, Long Beach. The only thing is that I would like to, there's more in my area that I would like to add, but it won't let me do that. And it looks like it has a max of 3 airports. So that is not great. I like you can add airports. I don't like that they're limited to 3. So let's see how it ends up going. Or, oh look, I can just say all. Okay, that solves that problem. Okay, so that's that one. And we're gonna go to London. I wanna be able to check multiple airports there. Looks like I can add nearby airports, but I don't know, only within 70 miles. We'll see how that turns out, because sometimes when I'm going to London in particular, I also like to check in Scotland and Ireland, because sometimes I can get cheaper in Ireland, and sometimes in Scotland too. So let's see how this works out. I'm just going to keep the dates the same because I really don't care. Okay, so this is pretty simple to navigate, pretty easy. Let's see what they find, and I want to see their speed. Continue flights. Okay, so one of the things I love, if you've seen any of my videos, you know I talk a lot about Google Flights. Right now, they are my current favorite for finding the cheapest airfare or finding any airfare for where you're going. But one of the reasons that I like them the most is they're very fast. When you put in a new search, you get results almost immediately. One of the things I don't like when I was comparing Skyscanner is it is incredibly slow. So Momondo, this has been live. I pressed search and it looks like it's still searching. Yeah, because this bar right here is still is going. Okay, now it's finally done. Okay, so on that regard, it is a lot slower than Google Flights, but if you don't mind waiting, that's fine. It just sometimes it gets annoying. It sometimes gets annoying, so just so you know. Okay, so from this screen, I'm not concerned so much about the actual price that it brings up, because in a later video I'm going to compare Google Flights to Momondo and we'll see head-to-head competition. Right now I'm just trying to give you a review of the website in general to see if it is a good place to go, if it's intuitive, if it's easy to navigate, if it gives you the tools and features you need to be able to hone in on the best price from a single screen rather than having to go back and forth. Okay, so in just a brief overview of this, it looks like they do indeed have the price alert, which Google Flights had. And when I went back to Skyscanner, they did have it, but it was in a separate area and it was hard to understand, where I had to go to toggle it on. So it looks like Momondo has that availability here. Okay, so instead of having the calendar with the dates, you would just kind of scroll through here to see if there's any different pricing a better pricing on a different day. Like if you went on Tuesday instead of Wednesday, same thing on this side. Okay, so that's kind of nice to be able to see if you want to alter your dates a little bit. And then coming down here, this is pretty standard. What I'm interested in is seeing if they have a way to change your airports from this screen, because I like to be able to add and check other airports. And if I scroll down, it looks like, okay, here's where I have my airports. So it looks like it was only checking these. Now, my problem with this is that and this is going to depend on where you are. You might be in an area where there's only one airport and there's only one choice. But if you have multiple airports, you want to be able to check all of them. In my case, I live in Orange County, which is halfway between San Diego and LA. So when I'm checking airports, I don't just check the LA airports, I like to check San Diego as well. And this stopped before it got all the way down there. So I would indeed, if I wanted to check San Diego, have to go back and do a second search. That's what I like about Google Flights, when you can actually, from the screen, this screen where you would find your price, you can go back and check other airports for as far as you want to go. So it lets you expand the map. So if I wanted to check 3 states over, I could. It really lets you expand it, which I like about Google Flights. This one limits. I can only stay in LA, so I would have to go back and change that. So that's kind of a negative I don't like. Same thing in London. It's only checking the airports within 70 miles of London. I would like to expand that out to Ireland and Scotland and see what else I could find. Heck, even some places in France, I would like to check those as well, and it's not giving me that option. So I don't really like that about this. And then everything else is pretty standard as far as your choices. A lot of this is the same as what you can find on other websites. So let's say we're going to go to the cheapest, which looks like it's this Aeromexico. And let's see what the next screen looks like. View deal. Oh, it just directly takes you to the booking website. With Google Flights and with Skyscanner, it actually takes you to a screen where it shows you the flight and some more flight information before it takes you to where you book it. This one just takes you directly to where you book it, which can be here or there depending, because this also gives you the information. So it just depends. That's kind of personal preference. I don't know that matters a lot, but let's go back to the main screen. Okay, so you don't click over here, you click on the actual flight and it'll give you more details. Okay, what I'm looking for on this screen is I want to know how many details they give you, because there's a lot of things that might change your mind regarding flights from this screen. So policies, that's important. Okay, so it does give you information like long layovers and overnight flights. That's good to know, because that might change your mind whether or not you want the cheapest price. You might want a different flight. Your return flight. What I am not seeing, however, is what class of service this is. So on my previous Google Flights versus Skyscanner, I was explaining how it's nice to know what class of service you're getting into, because oftentimes when you're going with the cheapest airfare, they're quoting you the economy basic, which means you oftentimes don't get a seat assignment, you oftentimes do not get checked luggage, and then there's a few other things depending on the airline. You want to know that going in, because if that level of service is too low for you, you want to know kind of what you're getting into before you go on to book the flight. I like Google Flights because it tells you exactly what level of service you are and gives you an opportunity to upgrade that from that main screen. This one does not say, so in order to find out, I would have to go to the view deal screen, go over to that travel to be, and then try to find that information on travel to be. So I don't like that. It's not the end of the world, but it makes Momondo a tiny bit more complicated in that regard to kind of hone in on what you're really wanting. Now, one of the things I'm not seeing from this screen is the ability to see whether or not this is a good price, a bad price, if prices are going up or down, kind of that graphic that Google Flights has that tells you if this is a good time to buy or not. So it isn't on this screen. I think they have it though. So let's go back to their home screen and see where it might be. Okay, so the top is where you search. Just some cutesy little things. Okay, so they do have it. You find when you want to go, and it tells you if the prices are low or high based on over here, the green, yellow, and so forth. So the parameters we were using before was in November. So this is showing the pricing and that it is considered low. I'm glad they have this option, but it's on the home screen. So if you had gone to search the flight and you found out what the price was, and then you went to go look to see if it was a good time to buy, it wouldn't be there. You have to come back to the home screen to see this. I wish it was on where you bought it, but that's fine. At least they have it. You just need to know using Momondo, you need to go back and check that. One of the good things about Google Flights that I like, and Skyscanner has it too, is their inspiration feature, where you can go and search, like if you say, okay, I want to go to Europe, but I don't really care where, I just want to get there the cheapest possible. They have a map that lets you go and search and find out, like just a visual of all of the pricing. Does Momondo have that? So let's look down and see. Inspiration, these are going to be specific vacations. Trending, okay. Trending countries, okay. Deals by destinations, how to find cheap flights. Okay, do they not have the inspiration other than, I mean, I would have to know, okay, I want to go to the UK or not, but what if I wanted to just see the world and see, okay, where can I go for the cheapest price? Does it not have that? Okay, I don't think they have that, which I don't particularly like. If they do have it, if you're a Momondo user and they do have it, and I just didn't see it, please comment below and let me know, because I would like to learn more about this website and see if it's a good contender for Google Flights. So overall, I would say Momondo's features are better than Skyscanner's, because I like that you can check multiple airlines, even though it's not as broad as I would like to check. I like that you can check multiple airlines. And double check them on the screen that shows the pricing. It has the check prices feature. I like that it has that bar, even though it's on the home screen, at least it has it that shows you if it's a good time to buy, what the prices are doing. But I still feel like doesn't have as many features as Google Flights does to be able to customize easily, to be able to feel confident and make sure you're getting that cheapest flight. I still feel like with Momondo, I'd have to go back and forth a little bit to make sure I'm getting that cheapest flight. So that's kind of first impressions of Momondo. I would need to do a head-to-head with Google Flights and actually search actual prices, actual flights, to know whether Momondo can get you a cheaper flight or a cheaper rate or not. So that's going to be a future video. I'll put them head to head, and then we'll be able to really take a look and see who gives you the better airfare. So for this video, for this review, I would say Momondo right now is better than Skyscanner, but maybe not as good as Google Flights. But I'm curious about your opinion on that. Please let me know what you think if you've used this, and kind of where you feel this compares to some of the other cheap airfare websites around. And if you are wanting to see that Skyscanner versus Google Flights smackdown, go ahead and take a look right here. And if you enjoyed this video and like to learn more, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you. And I wish you a great day and hope to see you on the next video. Bye-bye.